Hello, everybody. Sorry for the lateness. It's just that I had distractions. Tatsunemiku. I was half thinking about just streaming that because I was having too much fun playing it, but then I realized that I'd probably get hit with too many copyright strikes. And I don't want that. Hate that. Alrighty. What is the most recent one? This one. So we're going to enact that plan of mine that I came up with. Like, back here. Actually, first let's unequip Glenn. You can keep everything but the accessories. All right, so now let's pull in Orla. I could have replaced basically my choices were either bring in Orla, because I can use at least the rainbow knuckles, right? Or switch out Kid for someone who... Kid for Orla, I suppose, would work too. But I'm not getting rid of Kid. I like Kid too much. So, equip. Do not have... Oh, we have to go pick it up from... I think I left it on Draggy. Draggy, give me back my spectral glove. My rainbow knuckles. All right. Give her a Dreamer's bandana. Dragoon's glory. I don't know why I did that in particular, but we'll see how this pans out. Elements before I forget. Oh wow, she has very few elements. Might have been a bad call. Okay, blues. Oh, but we'll have Cure All. That's a nice plus. Oh, but that means, hold on. One of the things I do need to switch out. I need Redfield. Where's Redfield? There it is. Oh, I gotta get rid of one of my cure-alls? In technicality. Alright, it's alright. Probably won't be using Nostrum anyway. And then we gotta, on Kid, replace the green field with the blue field. There it is. Alright. Where's the other revive? It's gotta be on somebody. Wonderful, it's on Orla. Who is not as defensively strong as Kid is. But let's take that off of Orla. They don't have any other real good low. Just put another photon ray on there. And Kid will have the other revive. In place of... Yeah, turn red. Hold on. He doesn't need 2 fireballs. Got plenty of other red elements. I have an idea with that one. So, we'll just autosave real quick. And head our way up and do this thing again. I normally would not want to get rid of Glenn. I would prefer to have Glenn in my party forevermore. However, I don't have much choice. I swear I do have a thing for blondes. I see it because I got both Kid and Orla in my party. I know I didn't tweet out, but like I said, I was running late because I'm honestly exhausted. Today's been a rough day. I can't tell if the cutscene's in fast forward or not, but I can't skip it, so. We discovered that Monday. Yeah. Alright, let's do this. First round is just going to be building up elements. The elemental grid. As you do. As you do. Ooh, heavy. Aha! Oh dear. Yeah. We don't want to magnify yet. We actually don't want to magnify until we get over to the red. Or at least right before we get over to red. Actually, I think we're going to avoid magnification for now. Maybe. He doesn't really matter. It's Orla and Kid that do, and they don't have to build up really until the next... Oh my goodness gracious. He gave up real quick that time. Orla must have given him a dirty look or something, I don't know. Are we going to the next world? We're going to the next world. Huzzah. So we're in yellow world. We cannot skip this very easily. gonna be yellow, then a red. Which... Who's it targeting? Looks like Surge. Green. Alright. I was hoping. The yellow, red, green, now blue. Black, white. I'm going through this a lot slower. Which, fair enough. I know the Chrono Cross would be used here to finish. I don't think it really does much, so we're gonna ignore it for now. We transition. So we're gonna hit blue field. Yeah, let's just do it without the magnification. It ought to be a little bit easier, in all honesty. So let's hit blue field. Blue whale. That's a tidal wave. That's not a blue whale. At best, that was like a sperm whale. Dang it. I forgot that I didn't take that off of Kid, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Yeah, Cure Plus on Kid. Use a regular cure on Orla. Oh, we're transitioning already. Dang it. No more weakness. All right. It also made the whole field green. Interesting. I can give up 3 levels. Everybody's relatively low. You know, give or take. Let's use Recover All here. And Orla needs to build up at least a little bit more. That should be enough. Okay, sweet. Now we're switching over to the blue. I mean the red? No, the blue. I was right. Red field. He's 3 off. Shoot. 1, 2. All right, good. I was hoping he wouldn't interrupt me before I hit Salamander. Next world, nice. Okay, no white fields, so we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Black, white, yellow. Orla, you're all. Just to heal us all up, please. Does that hurt? A lot. Oh my god, kid, come on. For the fact that Orla is... We're transitioning already? I didn't even get to summon. Yeah, I don't want to boost him too much. And here I am with 2 recover rolls. Let's just damage out. You have a heal on? Ooh. Oh. This is bad. No, she didn't. That's why I used that recover all. Oh, dear. Orla, honey. Thank you. Cure all. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Is that it? My strategy worked! I didn't take too much damage. I got the benefit of having the cure-all, which is the heaviest AoE healing. And on top of that, the red and blue were not too far apart from each other versus the green and red. Nice. Okay, voice acting time. Here we go. Now I shall truly awaken again. This too is destiny. That thing, the dragon god, it is only a quasi-existence. A temporary form that the real dragon god uses in order to appear in this dimension. The actual dragon god was consumed long ago, swallowed by that being on the other side of the dimensional darkness. The frozen flame is a splinter from the extraterrestrial being Lavos. The one who connects with the frozen flame, in effect, links with Lavos itself. As the mediator between Lavos and living things, that one will gain extraordinary powers. By binding with the new seed of destruction, the devourer of time. What in blazes is a devourer of time? Now, go to the place where the time began divided and weave the threads of time together again. Chrono Trigger. The Devourer of Time is a new life form, born from the fusion of a life form from this planet with Lavos, who nests on a far side of the dimensional void. In the far future, when the fusion becomes complete, it will awaken. Sounds good. I felt like clowning on him. Anyway. Oh, I just noticed my background. Like I said, I was rushing. I was distracted. There we go. Fixed it, And the Devourer of Time will begin to consume all space-time continua. Despair and hatred to return all things to nothingness. That is what it desires. Here, take this with you. The Time Egg will enable you to travel beyond space-time. The world is in your hands. Go, release the life that is imprisoned. Beat him up, got it. Crikey! What in bloody hell is happening? This place is going to crumble to pieces! But I saw a shooting star. Can't we just stay up here for a little bit longer? It says the vibration. Oh, it looks so pretty. Look at how high and mighty it looks. Oh, that's not good. Yeah. That doesn't look like it's crumbling to pieces, but oh, we have nothing to fear. It's not a one-winged angel. It's got 4 wings. Okay. So that's Terra Tower's final and true form. In the end, we're all the same. Everyone dreams of being greater, more powerful. We've come this far. All that remains is to defeat the Devourer of Time. Once we wipe the Devourer of Time off the face of this planet, it's all over. Hopefully everything will go back to normal again. You're wrong. Things will ever go back the way they were. Destiny. Fate. Is dead. From now on, us humans will have to choose our own way in life. We also have to take responsibility for the choices we make. And something's got to be done about the way we go around hurting and killing one another. We've got to settle our differences once and for all. Listen. What's really important is what we do now. The issue ain't whether we defeat that bastard or not. I'm afraid that, depending on how we go about it, we could lose out on gaining something really precious. So the issue is the way that we fight. So where on earth is the real Devourer of Time? My guess is the key to finding that lies at that beach. That's where the whole thing started. Probably where the whole thing will end. It's its final form. It wasn't even its final form. Now it is. Look at that. It was. Now it's in its final form. What'd you say? Bruh? Bruh. Brah, brah, brah. Bum, bum, bum. Ba-na-num. Alright. Let's see what we do. First off, I need to get rid of Orla because I want Glenn. First, you know what? First, we're gonna do it the wrong way. I know Kid gave us the major hint on how to deal with this. But we will deal with this the way I would have done it as a kid, where I have no idea what I'm looking for. You need a Dreamer's Bandana, at least. Power Seal. Dragoon's Glory. Let's take off that blue plate now. That was actually really useful. She would have... I'm not sure if she would have died, but she definitely, you know... Oof. So we're going full force here, like I said. We're pretending like we're just gonna go in there and wreck face. Well, first things first. Let's, Can I sleep in my house? Dude, the world nearly ended already. Why are you guys still hiding in the back hut? Jesus. Like for reals, though. Dragon spirit, he says. Dragon spirit. The spirit of the dragon. If it was my home, I would have been able to do it for free. But 100G at this point in time is not gonna break my bank. Did I already steal the thing from here? Yes, I did. Okay. Yes, I did. Can I do it now? On this side? No, I have to go over to the home world anyway. See, we see Luca there. But we're gonna go out and save real quick before we do this. Bum bum ba dun 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 ba dun bum bum ba dun bum bum. Talk with the kids. So you finally made it, Serge? When did this sorry tale all begin? Was it 10 years ago when you almost drowned here? Or was it 14 years ago when you were wounded by the panther demon that attacked you? That resulted in you being carried to Chronoopolis, where you came into contact with fate in the frozen flame. Or perhaps it was 2,400 years in the future when the time crash hurled Chronopolis back to prehistoric times. Or could it be even have been in 12,000 BC when an ancient magical kingdom met its end after trying to use Lavos? Each is close to being correct, and yet, at the same time, so far from being the right answer. The true beginning was during the destruction of the ancient kingdom of Zeal. As the palace collapsed around her, Princess Shala was sucked into a dimensional vortex, along with Lavos, the Lavos Mammon machine. Shala and Lavos became unified into one, even more powerful entity. Sorry, I read that weird. Let me try that again. Shala and Lavos became unified into one even more powerful entity that would evolve into the Devourer of Time. Filled with the hatred and sadness of Lavos, half of Shala's mind became set on destroying all of existence. Yet at the same time, the other half of her mind desired to save the universe and to be rescued herself. As Shala fell through the time gate in this condition, she heard your crying echoing through time. That is when her story and yours began to intertwine. It is also when the past and the future began to intersect, and when the world became divided into two. Led by the pitiful crying of the young Surge, made as the Panther Demon's poison took hold of him. Yes, Surge, the sound of your crying touched the heart of Princess Shala. Before the destructive mindset could become dominant, she cloned herself and sent her copy into this dimension. Shala left her baby daughter clone. I'm surprised that's not a thing. Baby daughter clone with her ancient magical pendant. This was to safeguard her daughter clone in life and death situations. The pendant would rewind time a little, sending her daughter clone into a safer point in the immediate past. That's right. Kid is Shala's daughter clone. You're wrong. I'm me. I ain't no Shala's daughter or clone. Yes. That's right, kid. If that's how you feel. I think Princess Shala would have wanted it that way, to be that way too. And now, about Project Kid. Yeah, I feel like they had to condense a lot of things. They had a lot more in mind, because look at how much of this is... Forget about the Balthazar one that we had last time, or the time before last. Either way. Look at how much plot dump we're getting. The time control project Balthazar planned out. The whole project existed to lead you to this one special point in time. The founding of Chronopolis, the time crash, and the battle between fate and the dragon gods. It was all coordinated so that you would get your hands on the Chrono Cross and come to this place. Of course, it was not to know anything about this, about this whole plan until later. Further in the future, she is meant to travel back 10 years in time from now. Save Surge from drowning. Kid was also meant to call Surge into the other world as he spoke with Lena here on El Paso Beach. You're our last hope. Our final chance. Only you, who came into contact with Shala and Kid, Shala's daughter clone, can do it. In the darkness that exists on the other side of time, Shala has been integrated with the Devourer of Time. Please, Surge. Please release Princess Shala from the binds of the monster and her own hatred. Show us, the life forms that exist on this planet, what our new future will be. I mean, fair enough, kid. I get it. What are you two up to? I get why Luca's the plot dump exposition fairy because, you know, she's the smart one of the three. A new species about to be born on this planet. An alien life form even more evolved than the old Lavos. At the darkness beyond time, the weakened Shala came under the influence of Lavos and the two became one entity. We just got this from Luca, we don't have to read it. It's now up to you, the one the Frozen Flame has chosen as its arbiter. You alone can decide how the new Lavos, which has encaged Shala within it, will evolve from here. Your actions will determine whether in the future, all time is devoured by Lavos, sending the world into everlasting death. As Balthazar foresaw this would happen in his world in the year 2300. And he was determined to prevent it from happening, no matter what it took. The Chronocross. It alone can combine the sounds of the planet that the 6 types of elements produce. The melody and harmony that brim within all life forms use the Song of Life to heal her enmity and suffering. We entreat you, Surge. Please save Shala. And Chrono? What do you gotta say, buddy? Where even angels lose their way. 10 years ago, you died in this very spot. There's no mistake. You drowned. The truth is, this world in which you are still alive is the irregularity. This is the false reality. 10 years ago, it was Lynx who tried to kill you at this beach. After Prometheus broke the link between Fate and the Flame, Fate tried to eliminate any obstacle that stood in its way. In the meantime, the 6 dragons had sent Harley forth to try and gain possession of the Flame. Harley made contact with Fate's biological incarnation, Lynx, and tricked him into temporarily joining forces. The elimination of the Prometheus circuit's lock on the frozen flame was everyone's top priority. Lynx and Harley abducted Luca, who alone could release the Prometheus lock that guarded the flame. But that whole attempt only ended in failure, so they waited for you to appear instead. You see, Fate calculated that you would one day cross the dimensions and try to make contact with the flame. I don't know how to break this to you, but Lynx was actually your father, Wazuki. Drawing closer to the flame caused him to become unstable, and the image of you dying in terror changed him completely. Finally, after having his psyche totally eroded, he lost his soul and was easily integrated by Fate. Fate turned Wazuki into a biological interface, modeling him after your worst fear at the time, a panther. But why is his name Lynx, and not Panther? Or Panthera. So weird. Although Wazuki managed to escape from Chronopolis with you, he later completely succumbed to fate. Humans are such fragile, disjointed, imperfect things. Love and hate. Life and death. Perhaps even fate itself dreamed of using the flame to someday reincarnate itself into a new species. It's really quite sad, really. It's quite sad, really. It's like when you gaze into the flame gazes back into you. Was that it? Okay. Okay, we got hints, so I think I'll try and do this right the first time. No beginning, no end. The darkness of time. The final gate which leads to the darkness of time. It was like, this is finally it. Come on! It is time to bring an end. It is time to bring this chapter to an end and create a brighter future. Come on, Serge, mate. You don't want to keep the girl waiting any longer. She's been waiting for you and only you. And for over 10,000 years, I might add. If the world's gonna be destroyed, then let it be destroyed. If history's gonna change, then let it bloody well be changed. I'll show you what a radical dreamers really dream about. And here's the third very custom boss battle music. Music? Did I say music? I meant just complete sound effects. Shala, why did your hair go blonde? Last time I saw you, you had blue hair. Hi. Okay. So let's just establish ourselves here, because I forget how he does his thing here. Ooh, wow, he's... Okay, jump to green. So we already have to reset a little bit. This is why I'm taking this first turn to charge up my elements. Green again. So I might want to do yellow, red, and then defend. In fact, let's just start, shall we? But that I don't have any yellow on freaking Glenn. Why would I? He's green. Okay. Yellow. Red. Let's actually defend here. Of course you start with yellow. I was expecting green, you... I hate you. I hate you so much. Yellow. You at least have a red. Green. Blue. Black. Because it's getting tight. You can mess it up right here. First try, boys! And there we go. Welcome to the true ending. Yellow, red, green, blue, black, white, run across. Devourer undone. A while for you to show up, by the way. Ooh. Shattered the egg. Oh, it looks more like an egg up there now. Or it looked just more like an orb. I will say that looking at it again now that I've gotten all the way to the end and beating the game for the first time in years, it does, the Time Devourer does look like the man machine. Oh god, I know I'm gonna cry at this. Oh, I already feel it. This song gets me every time. Ben, why'd you drop your swords? Never mind. Surge apparently lost his weapon too. I'm trying to be jokey just because I don't want to cry. Oh my god, her eyes. That's the one thing you're different from Kid. Hence, daughter clone is a good thing instead of just clone. I have been waiting an eternity just for this very moment. Meaninglessly hurting one another, disappearing life forms. Love to hate, hate to love. Why are we born? Why do we die? Evolution? The survival of the fittest. What is there to be achieved from harming one another? Killing one another? The eggs that we call planets, and the innumerable spermatozoa, the life forms which gather around them. When one of those countless seeds is joined with a planet, a new universe is born. All this exists for that one moment. Also that the universe can evolve into the next dimension. Does that make all of us just pawns? Or all of us just each of our short lives nothing but cheap sacrifice, just so the one chosen life form can be born? No, it is not the case. Each and every one of us has a chance of becoming that one chosen life form. Yes, it could be you. Each of us tries to do our best with the hand that we're dealt, be it our genes or the environment we live in. Each life form, struggling to make the best of life it's given, forms a link in the golden chain that leads us to the creation of a new universe. Every single thing in the whole of nature is perhaps just dreaming a dream of life. All of them are also perhaps nothing more than a dream dreamt by a planet before its birth. Oh, but yes, eventually all dreams will return to Zurvan. To who now? I know that Final Fantasy took Zurvan probably from somewhere in our world, but now I'm kind of confused because the only two Zurvans I know, one of them was from 6 and one of them from 14. Neither of them is where dreams go to. It's very strange. Let's try that again. Oh, but yes. Eventually all dreams will return to Zurvan, the Sea of Dreams. Surge. Don't go yet, Surge. It's alright. Everything's alright now. Time, which has been divided, will be unified again now. The time for farewells has come. You will lose all your memory of this whole adventure and return to your own time. This time, you'll be able to live your own life. Yes, I will continue to follow in my brother's footsteps as a great dragoon. Good luck to you, Surge. I look forward to the next time we meet. We alone do not have the power to heal the world's woes or solve all its mysteries. And yet, even then, it was bloody good knowing you, mate. Thanks for being born new, Surge. I guess now's the time to say see you later, mate. But I'll find you. Sometime. Somewhere. I'm bloody sure of it. No matter the time, no matter the world you live in, I'll find you. I'm sure. I am sure I will find you. Yeah, I read it in British or more English than Australian on purpose to hide it for a moment, but they changed it slightly. But only slightly. Surge. Surge. Hey, Surge! Stop touching my butt. Are you alright? What's the matter? Don't scare me like that. You just passed out all of a sudden. Huh? What? Terra Tower? Fate? What are you talking about? We just got here. You got some Komodo dragon skills for me. Don't you remember? You sound confused. Come on, Serge. Get with the program. Our summer's only just started. Thus the curtain closes on another tale. An eternity has passed. Fleeting dreams fade into the distance. All that is left now is me and my memories. But I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, you and I. Another place, another time. It's just that we might not realize that you are you and I am me. Let us open the door to the great unknown. Come across another reality and live another day. Even when the story has been told, life goes on. Until we meet again, take care of yourself, my friend. Forever yours, Dala Kid Deal. Oops, did it freeze? The fact that the music is playing shows that, you know, there's nothing I can do. There it goes. It did kind of freeze. But why did I put the glasses back on now? Oops. They got the wrong one. This is another song I have to learn how to play. I'm sorry, I love this song. Like I said, this is my favorite game of all time. I'll take it warts and all. I don't care. Hey, wait a minute. We didn't see that. That looks like a Japanese high school. We didn't see that in the game. What is that? I still don't know whether or not they actually filmed that shit. I think they did. But they must have gotten a really good wig because it still looks kind of CG. Any movie live footage. Stuff like this is live footage. But look at what they did. They made everything black and white except for the sky. They do so good. And granted, they're doing it to all the other stuff. The other stuff is easier to pull off because it's in-game models. And they did it, obviously, when they still had all the stuff, so for the cutscenes, they could do the same thing. Tsunami says I'm fucking genius when it comes to the music in this game. Radical Dreamers. La Trésor Interdite. Where's? What? Squaresoft doesn't exist anymore. What is this? Obviously, these are the old credits, but that's fine. They put in most of the work for this. They did the heavy lifting. Pixar? Oh, they took the renderman tools from Pixar. Okay. That makes sense. Animal Crossing. We'll find you. Even if I have to search the world over. Sometime, somewhere, I'm sure. I can't voice act this. I'm still in tears. I wanted that screenshot. I technically wanted this shot before, but I'll take that one. Oh no! It was ruined. I'll have to do it again later. My little chat box in the way. New future. Eden. See, this is my biggest disappointment with the music box that they sold prior to the release of the game. Is that it's not this. This would have fit so much better than them trying to do freaking the Chrono Cross opening theme. Because they have it. It's right there. It's in music box form. All they have to do is create the pinwheel for it. And granted, obviously, it's gonna be, considering how short the one they did for Chrono Cross is, it's gonna be much shorter than what this is. But all I have to do is loop it a little earlier than, you know, when it gets here. You know, I brought up throughout the playthrough that, you know, not only that it's my favorite game of all time, but also that people have complained about it. And heck, as we've been playing, I've showed you exactly what I was like, oh man, this is kind of like, it feels like they rushed a little bit, or they had more ideas that they just kind of needed to throw together because they didn't have the time or the resources to get it all done. Because they had to be lifted maybe for another project or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it felt like it was rushed, especially at the end. Starting with about Terra Tower. Like, everything seemed like went at a pretty good clip all the way until it hit essentially disc 2, if you played it back in the PlayStation days, started like right when Chronopolis starts. But I would say Chronopolis is still, you know, paced very, very well. Actually, let me put this on at least the this screen. Oh, it's... What happened to the other scene that I had? It must be only on the other one. Actually, you know what? Let me do something about that while I have the mind to do so. Duplicate. Here. Hold on. Sorry, let me do this now because again, I probably won't do it later. Take me here. There we go. Okay, there we go. But yeah, goes at a good clip up until, you know, basically, I still feel like Chronopolis has good pacing still. But then after that, it feels like it goes at a million miles per hour to kind of jam everything in. Because they had other ideas that they couldn't get done. That's why I wish they would do a remake of this. Well, now even more so than before. Before, I kind of wanted it just because I wanted to see it with better graphics, maybe some voice acting and stuff like that. But now I want to see it just so that they can finish more properly the parts that they were going at a million miles per hour. And oops, I just realized that you had the background music going too. Hold on, let me do this. There we go. I can control it that way. But yeah. Then it goes at a million miles per hour. And then obviously the frame rate dips, which back in the day wasn't that bad, you know, something you dealt with. It was already 30 frames per second to start, and then any dips was, you know, kind of expected. 3D was still relatively new, granted, maybe most 6 years old. So it's difficult to kind of see what you want to do with that. And so that's fine, but then for this re-release, this remaster, they should have fixed that issue, but they didn't. But like I said, this is literally my favorite game of all time, bar none. It could be just because of nostalgia, and I will accept it wholeheartedly that it probably is nostalgia, just because it was the first game that I ever owned for a console. But it still holds up very well, like especially mechanically. Mechanically, it holds up really well. I've never seen another turn-based RPG played exactly like Chrono Cross. Not only because probably it's difficult to replicate without crossing copyright type lines, but by the same token, no one's ever thought of doing anything different, because it's always no MP and HP. Maybe, you know, something a little finicky here and there, but Chrono Cross did something really, really interesting with the elements and the fields and the innates and stuff like that. The innate stuff technically comes from like Pokemon-esque stuff of like strengths and weaknesses, but it's still very well done. Like, the only thing I wish would have been more is more to do, like, the Chrono Cross being essentially useless outside of to get the true end. Yeah. But, it's still my favorite game of all time, and I still enjoyed, and I felt like my money was well spent with buying this game. Despite, you know, like I said, warts and all, I love it. I don't care. I told a friend of mine about the frame rate drops. It's like, oh man, that sounds like it sucks. And I'm like, you wanna know what? I felt so nostalgic seeing those frame rate drops. It's stuff that I dealt with when I was a kid, when I first played this game. But I can understand, and I told him this, and I will say it here on stream as well, that I can understand why somebody would be frustrated. In fact, I think that Square should have fixed it, and I hope they do patch it at some point. That they fix that particular issue of the frame rate dips when there's, you know, multiple, you know, massive enemies on screen or massive amounts of effects and stuff like that. But I wasn't bothered as much as I thought by the up-res text. I thought that would drive me nutsoid. That I liked the pictures, but the models looked all right, but the up-res text was gonna drive me nuts, but it didn't. So I'm glad for that. I did notice a couple of the new changes that they made, mostly anti-cheat mechanisms. Not being able to set pip, or at least that's what I heard. My pause buffering that I use on the Compass game got rid of, which is fine. Not necessary. It helps, but it's not necessary. I don't know, this game, I'd love it. Still early though. Oh, you want to know what we can do? There's still... Hey, there's still another... I'll put you on kid. There's still that other ending. I want to see if I can get it real quick. See the yellow? Wow, that was like almost 30 minutes of stuff. Okay, we're gonna take this. And we're just gonna kill Lavos straight out. Or not, sorry. Oh, yeah, it is Lavos at the end of the day. I'm so glad I decided to do the normal one first. 'Cause I feel like... I feel like I would have been trolling doing the fake end, the false ending first. So we're just gonna absolutely wreck Lavos here. We don't care about Shala at all. Honestly, I don't care about Shala. For me, Kid is more important than Shala. So we're gonna just... It's just gonna be white, so we're just gonna wreck it. Oh my god, why is it more dodgy today? Free fall +2. Like I said, we're just gonna wreck it. I care not. Why is there red field +3? Why is there yellow field +2? Why is this a thing? Here, take another free fall. Have fun. Yeah, just take an Inferno. Not sure if I've weakened it yet. Omega Green. Gotta recharge my elements real quick. tornadoes. Let me have a pizza here while I get hit by tornado. Speaking of frame rate drops, right? Why are you not dead yet? Ooh. Oh, hey. Defending do something. Look at that. More tornadoes. I'm so glad it went as smoothly as it did, because I remember struggling to get the right combination because he would just be so mean. Okay, I guess I have to take a break and heal up because he's being a dick. Oh, Surge doesn't have I should have brought Turn Blue. There we go. This is what happens when you do it wrong. Yeah, there's no cracking. Can we not upskirt Shala, please? Basically, just like before, the only difference is that because there's no crack, Shala goes along with. Speaking of, just straight to here. Can't fast forward this. Or can I skip it? And now, see, now I don't have any. This one was worse. It's not a terrible thing, because obviously all you lose is Shala, and as someone who played Chrono Cross first, I sat there and said, like, okay, well, whatever. It just felt incomplete. Which it was. It was absolutely incomplete. It was absolutely incomplete. Those two crazy kids will be alright. I wish I could skip this. I just finished watching this not too long ago. I was hoping I could go take a look at the achievements. Where's my Steam stuff here? Hold on. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, I don't... I literally have no... mental on this. It just has no effect on me because, like, nothing happened. What am I supposed to say? Yay, I beat the final boss. Woo! The other one was so much better. But I'm trying to see if I get a different, yeah, because a new future see the good ending. There's got to be another one here. Yeah, an unchanging future see the bad ending. Then there's all the other endings. How many are there? 8, 9. Get 10,000 points in the Compass Roulette minigame without my pause buffering? Yeah, that's not happening. Gold stars for everyone. Obtain level 99 growth stars, which very clearly you can't do in one playthrough. You need New Game Plus for that. Beyond the fact that the endings, you need New Game Plus as well. Depending on when you defeat Lavos is when that happens. Oh, did I already get... Really? The only achievements for level 7 stuff? 2 of them you get naturally, so why wouldn't you use them? Actually, 3 of them, because that includes Harley's level 7 Lunatic. Which, that one, okay, maybe you don't use Harley. But you have to have, until a New Game Plus playthrough, you have to have both Surge and Lynx. So why wouldn't you use Forever Zero or Flying Arrow at some point or another? Luca's Legacy, where you get Hotshot, you could miss that entirely because it's not something that is naturally getting. Yeah, the Master Mune is something else that can be missed. That's fine. Like, what's frustrating is when it's an optional thing that is easy. Like, use this level 7 technique, you know, elemental technique that, you know, why wouldn't you use it to see what it does? Because it's interesting. Yeah, there's the unchanging future. Like, ones that you could miss, like, again, Hotshot. I started using a lot of people when I was doing my farming for getting Kid the rainbow knife. The spectral knife. And I was sitting there like, why am I not getting any more achievements for all these level 7 that I have to go out and unlock? I should have gotten achievements for at least the ones that you have to go and unlock. Like, okay, you give it to the main character one, that's fine. Whatever, not a big deal. But there's literally no other level 7s. There's no dual techs. There's only the triple techs, which that's fine. Even though there's not that many dual techs by comparison to freaking Chrono Trigger. Alright. Oh, that's that. Save game? Hell nah. Yes. I've saved a better version of that. Although I should do it again so I can get the screenshots I need, so I probably will try and save that one. So one thing that we could do, in theory, is open that bad boy, see what we get. New Game Plus, Continue Plus, obviously. But that's not what we're going to do. We are going to leave it there and play a game that is related that I have not played before. Sorry, you guys couldn't see it because it's too small, but like I said, since we're not doing that, we're going into Radical Dreamers. I've only played this in a fan translation before, so we'll both be experiencing this for the first time. And I didn't even beat it at all in the fan translation. Presented by the Radical Dreamers, 1996. But this came out 3 years before. It all began with a notebook my mother handed me. She told me she found it while cleaning out the closet. Wait, this is looking a little familiar. This old notebook, covered with mold, was a diary that belonged to my grandfather who passed away years ago. It contained his distant memories. Okay, we've established that the other one, that other journal that was there was kids, so no. I wonder if you still remember how we first met and our many adventures. It seemed like a dream. We ran like the wind during those warm summer days long ago. You were a piece of star that fell from the sky. I can still relive the memories of those days long past. Just by closing my eyes like so and whispering your name into the desolate night. Kid. Hey, this is sounding super familiar, kid. Oh, only 2 kids. Okay, I was expecting rule of 3. What the hell? But that was quoted line for line in Chronopolis as another dimension that was being under observation. That looks like Magus' castle from Chrono Trigger. Kid. Ah, there's the rule of 3. Hey, kid! Are you ready, kid? I know you're anxious, but stay on your toes. Oh, did I? Oopsie. Sorry, guys. I thought that was what it is. Okay, so directions, A is confirm, B is cancels, Y is menu. Okay. You will stick with defaults because I'm boring like that. The old lady's tip-off was right on the money. Kind of spell on the barrier around the outer walls could have done a real number on us. Kid's plain, unadored braid flicked back and forth across her shoulders as she walked. Ooh, I get to do my story reading voice. Yay! Jaden likes my story reading voice. I read The Hobbit to him. Did you like my story reading voice? For realsies? Okay. He's not just saying that. Alright, so let's do this. And now that we know that that was Kid who spoke, I get to do that voice again. Here we go. Real voice acting time, because this is basically a visual novel. This is not an RPG. We're playing something completely off the rails. Let's have some fun. The old lady's tip-off was right on the money. The kind of spell on the barrier around the outer walls could have done a real number on us. Kid's plain, unadorned braid flicked back and forth across her shoulders as she walked. We picked our way through the elaborate lattice of the manor's magic shields. Manor? Moving in closer and closer to Lord Lynx's stronghold. I'm confused. Anyway, there were 3 of us. Kid, Majil, and me. Verge. Kid in green is not something I would think I would ever see. Look at that. I assume Majil's the one in the further back because it's supposed to be close to what's his face? I'll look him up. Now this manual is useless because this has nothing to do with the Radical Dreamers whatsoever. With no information for me. Guile. It's supposed to be equivalent to Guile. I assume that's supposed to be Surge in the middle. I guess it must have been the 3 years since I first met Kid. Wow. I think in Chrono Cross it was all of like, I don't know if there was an actual time frame for that. Games are funny like that. You're not sure how long it takes to get from A to B to C. For you, it takes a couple hours. You know, however long it takes. I think our playthrough was like 34 hours, give or take. But for them, days, weeks, months, and I have a low battery, so give me a moment here. I want to speculate that the average, like, thinking about it simply, the average amount of time, that kind of thing. I'd say it would be like 2 or 3 years. Maybe 2 years. From beginning to end. Though technically, I guess because the age doesn't change, it shouldn't be, but... In any case, here before the game starts, he's known Kid for a while. We didn't meet Kid until halfway through basically the tutorial almost. Back then, I was just a wandering musician. Ooh, that was a change of pace, okay. Traveling wherever my feet would take me, and wherever a few tunes would pay for a warm bed. It was in the Outlands, a town called Rigoria, where we first ran across one another. Since then, she dragged me along a whole bunch of adventures, and misadventures too. Ah, Kid. He was a thief. Not just any thief. Just a few months shy of 17, and already renowned as one of the realm's greatest. What's more, she was alarmingly beautiful, stylish, and a joy to be around, and a dab hand at a campsite cooking. Or shows she'd like to claim. Okay, a couple things I gotta do. I gotta move my chat box that I usually have on my side anyway. Oh no. Gotta move this over here-sies. Can I see it? Can I see the text? Oh no. Give me a moment. We're gonna reset this. Because now it's all out of place. But now we've got everything in place, so we're good. Let me skip the opening. Because we were already in a good, just go for it. Can I save already? Aha. This reminds me of Chrono Trigger sound effects. At least want to get to here. When did we meet Magil if it's 3 years since we saw Kid, right? Good questions. She was a thief, and not just any thief. Just a few months shy of 17, and she was already renowned as one of the realm's greatest. What's more, she was achingly beautiful, stylish, a joy to be around, and a dab hand at campsite cooking. Or so she'd like to claim. The truth was a little different. Those bandits with hearts of gold you've heard about in stories? The ones that steal from the rich and give to the poor? Yeah, that wasn't Kid style. She was short-tempered, prone to lying, bossy, and obsessed with money. And rarely did she care to listen to a single word anyone said to her. This doesn't sound like the Kid that I fell in love with. What the hell? Kid, your alternate dimension versions suck. You need to go set them straight. Or at least... Or you need to set Surge straight on his opinion of you, because oh my god. But she wasn't all bad. Probably. Maybe. Sometimes. She had her moments anyway. I love the way this is written. It's so funny already. Let's even just read what we've got here on this screen. You ready? One more time. From the top without any pauses. Or, you know, because I did two continuations. The truth was a little different. Those bandits with hearts of gold you've heard about in stories? The ones who steal from the rich and give to the poor? Yeah, that wasn't Kid style. He was short-tempered, prone to lying, bossy, and obsessed with money. And rarely did she care to listen to a single word anyone said to her. But she wasn't all bad. Probably. Maybe. Sometimes. She had her moments anyway. I glanced over my shoulder at the to see a shadow hovering behind us, blending in with the darkness like smoke. The Jill, also known as Magil the Shade. He was Kid's partner, but even after 3 years, I still hardly knew a thing about him. All I knew that he was around 30 years old and not much of a talker, but he was one heck of a mage. I heard that he and Kid started working together before I met her. He always covered up the top half of his face with a mask, like what we saw with Guile. And I'd never seen what he looked like underneath. He was a man so mysterious that sometimes it would seem like he was an interloper from another world. So about that. Anyway, but what I'm really entertained to see here for a moment is we have a party made up of the thief, a bard, based upon what we heard about him at the start, and a mage. We have no healers or tanks. Well, to be fair, the mage may be a healer, but no tanks. So we better hope we don't get caught, because all of us are too squishy to take any hits. It wasn't like Kid was exactly big on details about her past, but Magil? He might as well have not had one. And Kid didn't want to know much about her partner in crime either. What kind of man he was, what kind of life he'd lived before. Nothing. You might ask how exactly I wound up part of this merry band. Well, it's complicated. I guess you could say that life doesn't always turn out the way you think it will. Kid, who was heading up our little raiding party, suddenly stopped dead. Look lively, boys. We've got company. We glanced around warily as the cold, cruel eyes emerged from the darkness. That's creepy. I heard a low growl. Dark shadows prowled through the night surrounding us. The wildcats. There must have been about 10 of them. A thrill of fear ran down my spine. Flustered, I pulled my knife from my belt. Kid calmly shifted into a fighting stance. Watch yourselves. I don't reckon these buggers ever been treating for rabies. Wildcats snarled and growled as they slowly closed in on us, drawing the noose tighter and tighter. Their eyes glinted in the darkness like fireflies, and strings of eager spittle dripped wetly to the ground. Then one of them sent an almighty roar soaring to the moon. And that was a howl, not a roar that I just heard, but, you know, I think this is just random sound effects, so it's fine. And the hunt was on. I thought this... Oh! Think fast! Did drive into the pack of wildcats, and I didn't even get the chance to choose. The largest of the numbers and kicking them chopped. The startled beast get out and yelped when I was sent flying. Turned out I turned to my right to see my wildcat was charging towards me. I lowered his head menacingly. I panicked and tried to make a last-second dodge, but I wasn't quite fast enough. Its claws scraped against my side as it rushed past me. Ugh. I winced in pain for a moment, then turned to face my foe and readied myself. I struck at it wildly. I slashed at the nearby wildcat with my knife. The beast tried to leap clear, but it was already too close. I felt the blade make contact and was rewarded with a screech of pain. The wildcat jumped away, this time managing to put some space between us. It looked like I hadn't cut very deeply. I stood my ground, changed my grip on the knife, and waited for another chance to attack. Serge, behind you! Oh, that was Kid. Serge, behind you! Panicked by Kid's warning, I whirled around and came face to face with a pair of eyes blazing like hellfire. I attacked. I tried to use magic. A wildcat came. I twisted my body to avoid the attack, acting on sheer reflex. In desperation, I tried to recite a spell I only vaguely remembered, and failed to conjure up a single spark of magic. Wildcat hurled its massive body at me, twisting my shoulder awkwardly. Ah! I was set flying, and my body rolled and crashed into the ground. It would only be a moment before the wildcat struck again. I tried to stagger back with my feet, but my legs wouldn't cooperate. I heard a low growl coming from right behind my head. Every hair on the back of my body stood on end. I shut my eyes and prepared for the worst. But nothing came. Instead, I felt blazing heat from overhead and smelled the acrid stink of burning flesh. I opened my eyes to see the smoldering remains of a wildcat, and standing over it, Majel. He gave me a silent nod before swiftly dispatching another foe with a blast of flames. I staggered to my feet, shaking my head with a vain effort to dispel my dizziness. I was breathing heavily. The handle of my knife was slick with sweat, and I tightened my grip. With a kick like a bolt of lightning, Kid landed a clean hit on the flank of a nearby wildcat, so she doesn't use a knife. Interesting. It staggered before losing its footing, letting out a pathetic cry, but Kid had already moved in to finish it off. And then the roar of fire, a burning smell filled my nostrils next to me, and next to me, a shrill screech pierced the air. Magel's fire spell engulfed the head of a nearby wildcat. It fled, darting off into the darkness like an arrow. All right, good job, team. We did a great job. I think I did wonderfully there, right? I scanned the area. Only moments ago, we had been surrounded, but now there wasn't a single wildcat left. Kid and Majel had either sent the rest off with their tails between their legs, or put paid to them once and for all. Put paid to them? What? Never heard that term. You're dreaming if you think a pack of flea-bitten monkeys is gonna stop us, Lynx. Kids crossed her arms and flashed a triumphant grin. Meanwhile, I was panting heavily. It felt like my legs were about to give out from under me. I collapsed to my knees, overwhelmed by what I'd just been through. I'd taken a few hits, but I was fine otherwise. A couple of scars to talk about later, maybe, but nothing that would keep me from carrying on. Are you hurt? Majel looked down at me, his face expressionless as ever. No worries, Mage. So it's McGill, because Mag, I assume, not Majel. Or Magil. Magil? McGill. I'm gonna go with McGill. No worries, Mag. He'll be alright, said Kid, barging in to get a better look at me. He may be a whinging sook, but it'll take more than a few scratches to kill this one. She was nothing if not sympathetic. But she was right. This was no time to be bemoaning my lot. We hadn't even reached the manor yet. I dabbed at my wounds with a tincture-soaked cloth. You know, I never thought potions to be used like that. Tincture. Tincture is actually directly from Chrono Trigger. Interesting. And wrapped them with bandages. Then I looked up at the other two. Sorry, I'm out. We're just getting started. I grinned back, putting a brave face on things. That's what I like to hear, Kid said, cheerily announced from close quarters. But then her eyes turned cold, like the cool glow from the moon in the night sky. It's gonna be a long night. I nodded, trying my hardest not to utterly lose myself in her pale blue eyes. Okay, stop. I feel like I'm being revealed because this Surge is very clearly in love with Kid, just as much as I was when I was younger. So this feels like I'm reading my own diary out. Goddamn. Okay, moving on. All right, let's get this show back on the road. He turned away and marched off deeper into the trees without looking behind to see if me and McGill were still following her. McGill, of course, was already right behind her, his unhurried gait making it seem as though nothing much had happened at all. I jumped back up to my feet and chased after them. I'd be in even more trouble than I'd bargained for if I got separated from them. The dark forest inside the manor's perimeter seemed to go on forever, a labyrinth of trees and boulders. The manor itself loomed in the distance, glowering over the vast grounds, and hidden within was a veritable mountain of treasure just waiting for us. Lord Lynx was the noble who ruled over the remote territory of Regoria. He was also Kid's mortal enemy. We were there that night to steal a certain jewel he kept locked away in the most closely guarded vault, the Frozen Flame. The Frozen Flame was veiled in mystery. It was said to be imbued with an uncanny energy and possessed of a beauty and clarity that made it a priceless treasure. Countless thieves had tried to steal it. Not one of them had come close to succeeding. Nor had any of them escaped the manor alive. And now it was our turn to try and sneak into this place of death. Led by a girl who had the ambition to make the impossible possible. Hunger for vengeance that drove her onward, and a desire for riches that could never be satisfied. As we pressed on through the tree-filled darkness, the shadows gave way at last, revealing the true extent of the vast mansion. This looks like a mix between Magus' castle and Viper Manor. Finally. Say your prayers, Lynx, because we're coming for you. Keeping to the overgrowth and the shadows of the trees, we made our way around the manor walls in search of a means of entry. Eventually, we came to a terrace overlooking the garden. There was no sign of any guards nearby. The only thing surrounding the manor was an uncanny stillness. This will lead us straight into the West Wing, just as well. We don't have any business with the rest of the manor tonight, said McGill, gazing up at the dark building towering over us in the night. All right then, what are we waiting for? With that, Kid made to vault over the railing of the terrace. McGill hits sharply. Remember what we are here for. Our main target is the vault, and the frozen flame within it. We focus on this above all else. Your vengeance is of secondary concern. Agreed. Glancing over her shoulder, Kid replied with a reluctant, Yeah, don't get your knickers in a twist. But if we happen to run into him... Oh, sorry. I need to get my water bottle in a second because all this talking, I'm doing more of it than usual because of the fact this is all reading. But if we happen to run into him, I'm gonna knock that Drogo's block off. Neither you nor anybody else is gonna stop me. I guess Kid was gonna get her way whether we liked it or not. Let's go, boys. The night is young. He cleared the railing with a sprightly hop and vanished inside the manor. I glanced toward McGill and nodded in silence. We followed Kid's lead and were soon inside Lord Lynx's lair. The darkness swallowed us whole. You know what? I'm gonna save here real quick. Thank you. Corridor stretched off to the left and the right from the terrace. It seemed equally dark and chilly in both directions. Left side, right side. The left. We pressed on through the darkness, down corridors that turned and twisted, snake-like, this way and that. Viper Manor? Everything around us was still and silent, and it felt like we were being watched, as if countless of eyes were... We continued creeping cautiously down the corridors. Kid moved proudly and stealthily like a cat stalking its prey, while in the shadows, McGill followed, gliding swiftly and silently like a sinister breeze. We pressed on into the abyss of Weaver's fate. The what? Weaver of Fate? Okay, I'm gonna stop here for a second while I go get my drinks. But let me read this first one. We took the corridor leaving from the left-hand side of the terrace, eventually arriving at an intersection with some stairs. Be right back. Perfect. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Moving on ahead. The path to the right led down the stairs. The path to the left was a dark side passage. Main corridor continued straight onward. I'm going to assume the vault's downstairs. I'm going to play this like this is my first time playing. And let me rephrase that. This is my first time playing. I think I only stopped at the bat. When I saw the battle, I was like, what the heck? What is this? Go down the stairs because I assume the vault's down there. Whoa, that's a nice little thing. Slowly, we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into the blackness as we went. The bottom, the path split. Way to the left continued onto an atrium that resembled a sort of plaza, while the path to the right was a winding passageway that trailed off into darkness. We don't need to go to plaza. Atrium? I thought we went down. Yeah, at the bottom. Interesting. Passageway. Went down the stairs, then took our passage to our right. Eventually, we came across an ornate door on the right-hand side. Something smelled fresh and pleasant. Flowers? Coming from inside? On our way. We went down the dark passageway, eventually finding ourselves at a sturdy-looking, immaculately polished door. It sniffed at the air. Just as I thought. Something stinks here. I reckon we found the beast slayer, lads. The darkness, kid's lips twisted into a grin that turned my blood cold. Turn back. We are not dealing with... Okay. We found ourselves in a tidy, welcoming room. Knickknacks and curios dotted around the place seemed to be well loved. The stately desk and cozy-looking bed nearby, meanwhile, suggested the room's occupant was no stranger to luxury. Though the room was richly furnished, it somehow still felt awfully lonely. Kid took a quick look around before commenting. It's Lynx's girl's room. A half-written letter on the desk and a teacup, still warm, suggested that the lady of the manor was still nearby. But it didn't seem to anyone was here now. We decided to search the room. Charming flowers? I see McGill in the mirror there. Look at that. This was actually pretty well done. Could be better, but, you know, I assume that's Surge. There's Kid. Kid in green and brown is so weird. I'm so used to her in red. Some charming flowers, a discarded cotton handkerchief, small bottle of perfume. Nothing that meant much to me, nor anything that seemed particularly valuable. Kid seems to have the same impression and scanned the room, clearly not expecting to find anything. The only item of note, and I think I'm running out of battery, that's what that pause was for. There we go. That's it. Was a small antique box which bore the crest resembling a viper. I decided where to look next. Chest of drawers, little box. The little box feels like it should have something in it. Probably. It's worth money. Let's do the box. I picked up the little box. I picked up the small wooden box on the bookshelf. Gently opened the lid, and was greeted by a soothing melody. A music box? Wow, they reused a lot of the musical motifs between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. I know that Chrono Cross used some motifs that they borrowed from Chrono Trigger. You gonna fix yourself? Thank you. Between Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger, but obviously Chrono Cross also ripped off anything new that came in from Radical Dreamers. There was something about that song. I know this tune. Kid was standing next to me, and I could see something had changed in her expression. Oh, sorry, that was Kid. I know this tune. You do, huh, Kid? I was gonna skip that one. Someone used to sing it to me a long time ago. She turned her gaze downward, and went silent. Kid? Startled, she turned to me. Her eyelashes glistened as if wet would do. She walked to the door, not saying a word. Hey, Kid, wait up! We left the room. Was she crying? Was Kid crying? Maybe I was just seeing things. Let's go to the atrium. I'm going to the atrium. Kid poked her head through an arch-shaped door and took a look around. Huh. It's big in here. See some kind of hole. We took a cautious look around and then entered, one after the other. The atrium was like a beautiful plaza, complete with a statue that doubled as a fountain. Pillars and arches lined the walls, and in the center was a small pool of clear water, above which a statue stood. On the other side of the room, I could see another arched entrance like the one we had just come through. Ooh, that's cold. Kid was scooping up the water from the fountain. I went over to her, resting my hand on the edge of the marble basin, and peered into the pool beneath. Shadows flickered under the water's surface. You reckon those fish are rare? As in valuable? Kid leaned right over the edge. I couldn't see the bottom. I wonder how deep it was. The shadow of one of the fish grew larger and larger. Whoa! Kid, sensing it, Kid leaped back from the edge. Clack! A fish leaped out from the water and snapped at her, her jaws bristling with razor-sharp teeth. Its mouth closed shut on the air where she had only been just moments before. With a splash, the fish darted back under the water. Pteranodons. Deadly carnivorous fish with razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws that could snap a monster's horn in half. Staring in horror, I watched the dark shadows begin to gather in what little of the pool I could make out. The pteranodons must have detected prey. Soon the room was filled with the sound of splashing and snapping. The fish teemed at the water's surface. Bloody hell. Even Kid wasn't easy. She took another step back. How many pteranodons were in the pool? Thought of what could happen if they all leapt clear of the water and attacked at once crossed my mind. A bead of cold sweat rolled down my forehead. Suddenly, the water coming from the statue turned crimson and shot out a powerful jet that nearly touched the ceiling. Kid jumped back again. I just stood in shock, watching the torrent of water erupting from the surface. The scarlet waters continued to gush out from the fountain. The pool grew redder and redder and started to overflow. We looked on entranced, but the spell was soon broken when we realized that the water was starting to flow faster and faster over the rim of the basin. The pteranodons began to jump and snap at the water's surface with bloodthirsty glee. I was brought to my senses by the dull slapping sound of pteranodons hitting the floor. Quick! There's an exit on the other side! I pointed to the doorway opposite where we come in. I tried my hardest to rush across the red pool, sending up a great gouts of crimson water, but it was thick as blood and found myself struggling to move. I felt sharp jabs of searing pain as countless pteranodons snapped at my legs. Kid gritted her teeth in pain. Serge, we gotta do something before we get turned into mincemeat. What was I gonna do? Deal with the fish? What? You wanna try pick this little lot off by one by one? Kid glared back at me, her face a picture of exasperated relief. Don't be a bloody idiot, Serge. You wanna die here? While I stood there mouse the gate, a piranha sank its teeth into my foot. A jolt of pain surged up my leg, making me jump. What are we gonna do? I can't go to the other side! We have to get to the other side. Alright, I want to see. Keep going! Let's see. I guess, considering how much of a circle it is... I lost my footing crash. Okay, I oopsied. And that was how I died. That was the game over song? Okay. Thank you for not using that as the game over song. Oh, right. I saved here. Let's go right down the corridor this time. There was not really anything in that direction, other than the music box thing. We pressed on through the darkness down the corridors. Okay, so as kind of as I was watching from the shadows, looking on with curiosity and pity. Pity? Into the embrace of the Weaver of Fate. Okay. In the group as usual, Kid suddenly stopped. What's that? Jabbed her finger at something in the darkness. Straining my eyes, I could see a pale white bundle of something shaking in the shadows. Huh. Strange. I moved in front of Kid to try to get a better look. And suddenly, the strange presence started crawling across the floor towards us at an unbelievable speed. I didn't have time to brace myself. The white figure reached at my foot and reared up to its full height. It was a skeleton! The skeleton and I stood face to face, its empty eye sockets staring straight at me. Or seeming to, at least. What was I gonna do? Tackle the skeleton! I charged in to tackle the skeleton. Ah! Ah! There was a crunching sound and clattering of bones as the skeleton was knocked back by the blow. Its body split clean in two at the waist. Better luck next time, muttered Kid dryly. As if in response, the skeleton upper body picked itself up off the ground, turning its skull toward me. Balancing its body with its left hand and then pulled its skull from its head with its right hand. What's it doing now? Before I could get the words out, it had heaved its skull at me. What was I gonna do? I don't want to get bitten. Dodge! Whoosh! The skull sailed past me as quickly as I stepped aside. Ow! Only to smash into Kid, who was standing right next to me. The bloody hat! What did you move out of the way for? He returned the favor by thumping me on the back with the head. Macho walked over to where the skull lay on the floor and stamped it, shattering it to pieces. The rest of the skeleton collapsed, falling apart with a clatter. It didn't move after that. We're done here. Let's get moving. I'd taken a few knocks, but I was alright. A scrape or two wouldn't stop me. Maybe you ain't such a drungo after all. Just goes to show any old weirdo can make something of themselves if they put their mind to it. Kid's eyes glinted with mischief. A short way along the corridor, running from right-hand side of the terrace, we found an ancient-looking door on our right. Kid pressed an ear against it, listening for any signs of life. Get quiet. Don't reckon there's anybody in there. In we go. Hill stilled her breath, reached for the handle. The door wasn't locked. Swung slowly open. And all these creaky creaks. This room's supposed to be. It's This place is a dump. Kid had poked her head through the door, taking a quick peek to see if there's anyone inside, but was disappointed by what she found. The room was large, littered with peculiar-looking machinery and knickknacks, all of which were covered in dust and had seemingly been dumped there haphazardly. Everything looked like it had been rusting for a very long time. At the ends of the room were completely dark, and it was impossible to tell just how big it was, or even if what the walls and floor looked like. It seemed the manor's inhabitants had turned the old clock tower into a makeshift storage space some time ago. I stepped warily inside. Leave that alone. I looked over to McGill and saw a kid trying to pull something from the shadows. It was a huge sword that appeared to be very old indeed. You don't need that old bludgeon. It will only get in the way. As much of an antique as it is, it won't fetch much on the market in that condition. Yeah? Reckon it might, you know? There's plenty of collectors who love old bits of junk. Well, some old bits of junk. Pouting, kid left the sword where it stood. At least she put it back down gently. And that was when we heard a voice from the shadows. And what exactly are you doing here, I just about jumped out of my skin. Who's there? Kid and McGill turned to face the voice, ready for a fight. A wizened old crone emerged from the shadows. She was hunched over and wore a hood that draped over her face. I could tell at a glance she wasn't just old, she was positively ancient. Just some doddery old bag. What do you think you're doing, sneaking up on us like that? Oh, sorry, that's, I thought that was the old lady talking, so I was just like, wow, that's weird. Just some old doddery old bag. What do you think you're doing, sneaking up on us like that? Kid soldiered relaxed as the tension left her body. McGill, however, continued to give the woman a piercing stare. Oh, what an impish little thing you are. Here to visit a friend, perhaps? Not in the dead of night, I suspect. The crone narrowed her eyes. Let's get a closer look at you. Ah, yes. You must be here to get your revenge on Lynx. And my heart jumped. She seemed to know exactly who we were. We were in trouble. What if she sounded the alarm? We'd have to give up the treasure and run for our lives. Play dumb. What's that? I don't know what you on about, lady. She did her best to play dumb. And she did it well. Mind you, she never felt much shame about lying or deceit. I said, can you believe that anyone would be so foolish as to challenge the great Lord Lynx? They'd have to be out of their mind. But seriously, girl, you can't fool me, so don't try. I sense a sudden steeliness in her voice. At least, I was pretty sure that I did. McGill, can you give me a hint here? Because you seem to know more about this lady than I do. I'll come clean. But what if we are? What if we are? The kid narrowed her eyes to the right back at the crone. What's it to you if we're here to get our revenge on old Lynxy boy? You gonna do something about it? You never change, do you? The old clone chuckled madly, her small frame shaking. Ah, the boldness of youth. Yes, that's the spirit. What? He'd look at the crone, completely confused. I was no less mystified. What the heck are you on about? Star-stealing girl? Oh my god! Oh, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, it was around then that an innocent young thief stole into the manor looking to singe Lord Lynx's whiskers. She couldn't have been much older than 10, now that I think about it. Shocked, my gaze turned to Kid. A wet glint had appeared in Kid's eyes, but her glare was like ice. It certainly felt as if the temperature in the room had suddenly dropped below freezing. With a chuckle, the crone continued her story, pretending to not have noticed the change in mood. She was an orphan, you know. Came after Lynx to avenge a woman who loved her like her own daughter. But all the vengefulness in the world couldn't change the fact that she was only a little girl. She was no match for Lynx's men, sadly, and they very quickly captured her. Lynx is the kind of man who would fear to have for an ally. One would fear to have for an ally, never mind a foe. Had it not been for the timely assistance of a friend of hers, the girl would have certainly been executed. The way the people of the manor told it, the very shadows pitied the girl and rushed to spirit her away. I wonder how much of that tale could be true. I have nothing but sympathy for those who know failure, of course. You can't win all the time. And sometimes, against all the odds, fate can be foiled and the clockwork of history sent into disarray. No, the ones that I have no patience for are the ones who do not recognize their failure, or who fail and choose to give up as a result. The crone looked up from under her hood, stared at Kid directly in the face, and grinned. Kid's anger faded, giving way to dumbfounded expression. If you wish to steal the jewel from Lynx, if you truly wish to triumph, you will have to let go of a treasure of your own, Kid. For as long as you cling on to it, the hands of your clock will never move. They'll stay exactly where they came to rest all those years ago. Who are you? Me? Why, I'm just an old bag, like you said. I do apologize. I must have taken up a lot of your time with my babbling. I'll leave you in peace. Oh, but before I go, the crone turned to face me. You seem to be injured, young man. If you wish, I could take a look at your wounds. With all the attention suddenly turned toward me, I panicked a little. All right, then, please do. All right, then, please do. The crone muttered a few words as her bony fingers drew sigils in the air. A pale, gentle light began to surround my body, filling me with a strange warmth. Strike a light! That's no respect! Kid said, surprised. I felt like my wounds healing, and I heard a nostalgic melody that soothed the wounds in my heart. Before I realized it, the crone was gone. Hey! Hey, lady! Oh, I'll pretend like that was Surge anyway. Kid strained her eyes, scanning the darkness, but there was no one to be seen. Her calls went unanswered. Okay, now I have to do it. Who the bloody heck was that? Kid looked like she'd just woken up on the floor of the Laughing Pig after one too many. And what did she mean by you having to let go of a treasure? Well, we won't find any answers here. Time to move on. McGill brought us back down to earth, emotionless as always. It almost seemed as if he thought nothing had happened at all. Yeah. I guess you're right. Kid walked quickly to the door, keen to move on. Hold it, you. Hold it, you. Hold it, you. Just as I was about to follow Kid out of the room, she jabbed me in the side with her elbow. You stingy little bugger, Surge. Why didn't you tell her to share some of that healing magic with the rest of us? Classic Kid. The door led back into the corridor, which stretched off to the left and the right. Right way led to the depths of the manor, while the left led back to the terrace. Let's go back to the right. Continuing down the corridor, we came across a rather sturdy-looking door on our left. A little further on stood a stairway leading upward. Well, this door is clearly keeping something safe. If there ain't some kind of treasure behind it, my name Me name ain't Kid. Yep. Smell of cold, hard cash. That's the smell of cold, hard cash, all right. She muttered to herself as she began to inspect the door more closely. Bah, what am I, stupid? Of course it's bloody locked. Kid had tried the door of the handle a few times before giving it a grumpy kick. Bloody door's got a magic barrier on it, and the bloody barrier's got a barrier of its own to boot. Take more than me to button the boot to get through all that. I see. And unless we find the key, we don't have a hope of getting inside. I reckon I can handle the key, Hunt. Especially if it's that idiot Lynx's in it. We could just find his room. If I could sniff it out in 2 seconds flat. Just you watch. There's a little more we could do here, so we head to back to the terrace. Let's see if the old lady's there again. He was complaining that they didn't get heals. Does she respawn? Any little old ladies in here? No? No kindly old dears who know more than they're letting on lurking out in the shadows? Come out, wherever you are. Oi, ladies, show yourself! It's a waste of time, pronounced McGill flatly, turning on his heel. I was hoping that she might respawn. Oh. Hello. Kid stopped in her tracks, signaling to us with a hand behind her back. She drew her knife and stared into the darkness. We heard the clinking of metal from just ahead. Goblin guards. It wasn't likely there'd be anyone else going for a nighttime stroll around the manor wearing armor. I picked up on the situation pretty quickly and drew my knife, preparing for a fight. Kid gave me a sideways glance. You know something? Don't look like a real thief. Now you just gotta walk the walk, she grinned. Right, Sedge. McGill, let's get him. Kid left forward, confident as ever. It was like she thought nothing could go wrong. And so everything went wrong. There were 5 of them in total. They weren't any ordinary goblins, though, having been well looked after in this palatial manor. They'd grown even bigger than McGill, each of them carrying the manor's goblin trademarks. A morning star consisting of a rod and a heavy spiked iron ball on a chain. Wait, or is it a flail? I could never remember. And I didn't have the time to think about much more. A goblin came rushing towards me and swinging its spiked chain. I jumped back to evade the attack. Big and stupid, right? The iron ball came crashing down the stone I was standing on just a moment before, crushing it. Had I tried to stop it with my knife, I would have been lucky to escape with a fractured skull. Let's try to finish this. I seized the opportunity to thrust my knife into the goblin's chest, only for it to stab it square in the gut. I rushed to pull it out, but before I could, the creature had already grabbed my arm in its meaty fist. Uh-oh. I looked up to see it glaring at me with a mad grin on its face. I decided to fight dirty! The goblin may have been a monster, but I was guessing it was still a man. In a sense. I swung my foot up hard. A brutal kick right in the family jewels. But it had no effect, and the creature's grip didn't weaken. Its grin didn't waver. Actually, I think it might hurt my foot more than anything else. Suddenly, I was flung to the side. My back crashed to the wall, impacting knocking the wind out of me. And then, before I could react, a heavy kick smashed into my side. I was flying, slamming to the ground and rolling from the impact. I coughed, leaving a spatter of blood on the floor. And then, with a roar, the goblin started running for me. I stood up trying to ignore the ringing in my head. The goblin was unarmed. It was going to strike first. I readied myself. It swung at me with its left fist aimed right at my face. I timed my dodge carefully, ducking at the last second. The fist sailed through empty air. I slipped past, circling around to the goblin's back. I freed the mace from its belt. I lifted the weighty weapon in the air as the creature turned and brought it down on his head with all the strength I could muster. There was a sickening crunch, followed by a squelch of the mace as it came free. The goblin collapsed. I threw the mace to the ground and dropped to my knees. Exhausted, I panted for breath. Finally got a notch in your belt, eh? Taunted Kid coming to my side. I wanted to say something, but I was too exhausted. I'd taken a few knocks, but I was alright. A scrape or two wouldn't stop me. Maybe you ain't such a drongo after all. Just goes to show any old weirdo could think of something themselves when they put their minds to it. I guess that's like your victory quotes to let you know where you're at, health-wise. Left down the corridor. Yeah, we're doing this. We've already done this before, so I'm going to skip it over. Continue onward. Did we do that? Double doors. Okay, this is new. It gently pushed the heavy doors and peeked inside. Doesn't look like there's anyone in there. It seemed to be the main hall of the manor. Whoa! Why is there in the main hall? Okay. He's the main hall of the manor. It was a massive table, beautiful decorations on the walls, and thick columns decorated with sculptures of birds and beasts. Fixed to the wall in the back towered a tremendous pipe organ like a burnished black mountain. Dozens of candles provided dim, flickering light, sending the corners of the room dancing in and out of the shadow. Several enormous portraits glowered down from on high wall. Were these the members of Lynx's family? Busy staring at the painting depicting a young husband and wife when I realized their eyes had turned to look right at me. Okay, they hadn't. Don't worry, this isn't about to turn into some dumb ghost story. It just looked that way because of the way they were flickering in the light and the candles reflected against the glossy oil paints. Obviously. Probably. This gives me the creeps. Sorry, this place gives me the creeps. And get a load of all those ugly mugs. There's nothing for us here. Let's look somewhere else. Neither Megal nor I had any objections. Left the hall and returned to the corridor. Down the stairs. So we didn't go that way before, but it was worthless. We don't want to do the atrium. We know what's there right now. Three pathways to the right. We'll go in the first place, and I'm going to try something different for funsies. I know that the box is drawing my eyes, but we've already done it once and got nowhere, really. Let's open the chest of drawers for funsies. Split open one of the finely veneered drawers. Frills, lace, and sequins greeted me in reds, pinks, and yellows, and a host of other vivid colors. A bounty full of silk garments overflowed from within. Dresses, eh? Give us a look. I'd just been about to close the drawer again when Kid came up and started peering over my shoulder. He reached out a hand to touch one of them, though I sensed a certain hesitation. Never worn anything this posh in me life. The gown she picked was cut simply but beautifully, and was decorated with a pale floral pattern on white background. She held it up to her chest and took a gentle twirl around the room. She was as light on her feet as a woodland nymph. The fabric fluttered like flower petals, and she held the hem just so. In that brief moment, you could have almost called her dainty. Stupid thing. Not exactly me, eh? I wouldn't say that. I think it really suits you. Oh, shut your gob, asked Kissa. Her face turned an angry red. Come on, we ain't got all night. The spell is well and truly broken. She stomped out of the room. Back to the right. You know what's over here, or I have an idea. Kid sniffed the air. Just as I thought. Something stinks here. Reckon we found the beast's lair, lads. The darkest kids... Okay, we went inside. Kid opened the door and slipped inside. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to be party to this. Viper Manor? Oh my god. They really did borrow a lot of their own work already. I mean, this is good. This is fine. Not terrible. Kid opened the door and slipped inside. It was Lynx's room, but he didn't seem to be around. Doug has gone and scarpered up because he's heard I was coming. There was something deeply unpleasant about the room. There wasn't anything unusual about the furniture and the fittings, not how they looked or how they were made, but taken as a whole, it felt discordant. Was this really a reflection of Lynx? A seemingly ordinary facade that hid disturbing truth only some could see? Why, I bet we'll find the key to that vault in here, or a clue about where to find it. I started searching through the room. The desk drawers, the paintings on the wall, the vase on the top of the side table. I left no stone unturned. There didn't seem to be anything suspicious, but as I scanned the room, something unusual did catch my eye. There was a pedestal in one corner with a significant-looking scarlet cloth drawn over it. I slowly raised my hand toward it, carefully pulled the cloth away, revealing a mirror. It was old-fashioned, and the kind of elaborately decorated style I've seen before. It was a reflected statue of Venus. I carefully pulled the cloth away, revealing a mirror. Oh, sorry, I was thinking like I redid it again. Suddenly, the eyes of the statue shone with light. What is your desire? The mirror! It's speaking! Kid and Majel ran to my side. McGill staring to my side. No need to panic! It's a whispering mirror, nothing more. Oh, sorry. There's no need to panic. The whispering mirror, nothing more, said McGill flatly. What's one of those? A magical mirror which a spirit dwells. The spirit can freely move between its own and other mirrors and will share its wisdom with those who ask. Interesting. Should I ask it? Actually, do I have those already? I think I have those already. I know at least I have her height and weight, but do I have the 3 sizes? No such luck. She aged down between games because she's 17 here, she's 16 in the game. Interesting. Alright. Should I be stupid? Should I be stupid? Actually, can I save? Can I save? Yes! Let's go. I want to know kids' measurements, I blurted out. The wind was immediately knocked out of me by one of my kids. Look, mirror's showing us something, muttered McGill thoughtfully pointing at it. Kid, who was sitting on my back and bashing my head into the ground, stopped what she was doing and glanced at the mirror. I looked up as well. Watery ripples flowed from the center of the glass, and then a series of numbers began to float up below. 5275? While I was reading the number, Kid mashed her hand into my face. Who told you to look, creep? I had no idea what the figures even meant, though. Kid seems confused as well. Wait, whoa. Because, yeah, maybe it's 50, technically, because 52, right? 5275, but that would be 75. That's still measurements, you're just missing one of them. It was up to McGill to explain it in his usual deadpan manner. What?! What kind of 3 sizes bullshit is that? Her height, her shoe size, her ring size. Actually, did that change? Because I'm assuming 52, 5'2", right? Is in meters. Or oh, 5'2". No, that's in feet and inches. 5'2", flat. She aged down a year, but she got taller. She's 5'3". She was 5'5" in Chrono Cross. But alas, we have no shoe size or ring size. But now I have her ring size. I can propose her properly. Later. Oh, but if she got taller, her fingers might have gotten bigger too. Oh well. Was that it? I felt so cheated. Wait, that's not what I meant! I started, but the mirror had fallen silent and didn't seem to be listening anymore. The spirit of the mirror appears to have moved on, muttered McGill. Really? Huh. What a waste, I grumbled. Kid glared at me, her arms folded. Well, now you know me measurements. You won't have to have trouble finding me some nice new clothes. A pair of boots, a pretty ring to say sorry when we get out of here, eh? You owe me, and you better not forget it. Really gonna drop myself in it this time. Anyway, the mirror's not listening anymore. Reckon we're done here. I should probably reset. Because that was fun. Definitely very fun. Is there a reset? Hold on. Doesn't seem like there's any. We'll have to do this way. And after this attempt... That was fun. Write that down! Write that down! Alright, I mean too late for that, but that's okay. Hello? That was weird. Asked her where the key to the vault was. You know where the key to the vault is? The mirror's reflection rippled and changed to reveal a room with numerous bookshelves. A deep, sonorous voice spoke. You will find the key in the place I have revealed, the study. It is inside a book with a purple cover. In the furthest bookshelf from the door. The image of the study vanished in the mirror, and the voice went silent. It appears the spirit have left for another mirror, commented McGill. To the study, then. As I made to leave the room, a low voice rumbled through the air, stopping me dead in my tracks. Where? He knows. Was it the voice of the mirror again? What did it mean? Hurry up or we're leaving you behind, Serge, called Kid from outside. Flustered, I rushed after her. The corridor stretched out. He wouldn't have known if I asked for kid sizes. Lynx's... Riddle went from Lynx's daughter? I'm confused. Let's see if I can look at the other things or if we're just kind of SOL. Oh, something changed here. A window was slightly ajar, bringing some much-needed fresh air. It seemed that someone had been here just moments ago. Okay. Don't need to go back to the links. Yeah, because we know that we can't get across that. We're probably unable to fight, really. There was a set of stairs that went up, wasn't there? Down the side passage? I'm not reading some of this, but still. Oh, this is perfect. Looks like a study. The room was lit by moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, slanting down in pale beams across the darkness. It was pretty big for a study, with an immaculate antique desk dominating the center. There were rows of bookshelves lined with thick, dusty old tomes. The wall to the rear of the room was decorated with paintings, and shelves of vases and painted plates stood before it. They all seemed to be curios from forgotten lands. Right, let's find this key. Light on her feet, as always, Kid moved to the center of the room. Where did Mir say it was again, Serge? She was asking me. How was I supposed to remember? Good question. I remember, I think it was far purple. I think it was supposed to be with the purple cover in the furthest bookcase? Alright, let's see. You mean to take my word for it? Kid made for the case in question. Right, this is the one. Purple cover, purple cover. Aha! It's gotta be this. Kid put the book down from the bottom shelf. McGill and I watched as she opened it. The pages were hollowed out, and inside was a whole key decorated with strange symbols. Yeah! Nailed it! Nice one, Serge! Kid snatched the key from inside the book. Right, finally time to get a look at this treasure. Having got what we came for, we left the study. I'm kind of disappointed that was that quick and easy. Yeah, it was right bench because we had to go back to where the clock room was. This should do it. He'd slipped the key we had found into the lock. Lines of magical light flashed across the surface of the door and vanished as various magical barriers were dispelled. Up, down, left, right, blue, red, green, every color under the sun, and then all was quiet. Dark as the manor. Right. We're in. Creak. The heavy door gently swung open. As soon as I saw what was inside, I gave a gasp. Kid stepped inside. Whoa! We've hit the mother lode! Out of the darkness loomed a veritable mountain of gold, silver, priceless works of art, and exquisite trinkets. Kid looked as if she were on the verge of drooling at the sight of it all. But what thief wouldn't have been? After all, this was the kind of hoard that few people would have ever come across in their lifetime. The smallest fraction of this vast mound of riches would have been even seen the most careless spendthrift set for life. Our goal is the frozen flame. Ignore the rest. McGill spoke with icy dedication to our mission. He had not even batted an eyelid at the sight that greeted us. Yeah, I know. He was disappointed, of course, but she soon set about scanning the room for the object of our hunt. Wait, is that it? Look, on the pedestal over there. I turned to see what Kid was pointing at. Back to Chrono Trigger music, huh? Or is this... No, this is Chrono Cross. Or is this a mix between the two? Anyway. There it was. A small, and it looks nothing like what we see in Chrono Cross, but you know what it is. A small yet perfectly formed jewel that gave off a pale red light. A jewel that looked like flickering fire suspended in time. A frozen flame. Finally, McGill walked towards the pedestal. I called out, "Wait, we have to be careful." "You're right. This is the Lynx we're dealing with after all. It may very well be trapped. We should be on our guard." Alright, you're right. Lynx we're dealing with. After all, may very well be trapped. We should be on our guard. We need to be quick about this. But fine, have it your way, grumbled Kid, looking away. McGill examined the pedestal for a short while and then paused. We were wise to be cautious. Placing his left hand on the base of the pedestal, he muttered an incantation, drawing quick sigils in the air with his right hand. Some glyphs appeared on its smooth surface. For a moment, it blazed brightly. There. Now we can proceed. McGill calmly reached out and grabbed the hold of the red jewel. Da 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 da! The fact that you can say that and still know what it is. Ah, oh, so lovely. Surge and friends attained the frozen flame. We finally managed to get what we came for without anything horrible happening to us. I breathed a sigh of relief and turned again to McGill. He was staring silently at the jewel in his hands. McGill, we did it! Let's get out of... Before I could finish, the frozen flame crumbled to dust. The flame was a fake. Lynx must be keeping the real one somewhere safe. What? Suddenly, a siren rang out. The door was flooded with light and the metal bars slammed shut behind in front of the door. I turned with aghast to see Kid frozen, an ornate crown in her hands, and wide-eyed look of awkward shock on her face. Kid, my dear, I know they look pretty and wonderful, but why? Da 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 da. Kid and friends obtained a golden crown too. You're kidding me, right? You had to go and you complete bonehead! I let rip a stream of choice insults. In my head, that is. Metallic parrots filled the corners of the room and suddenly came to life, flapping its wings, screeching, "Thieves! Thieves!" We're in trouble. These things are going nowhere. That McGill, expecting the bars covering the door. Although, to look at him, you wouldn't have thought there was anything wrong. Which way? Which way? Parrots! The parrots! To the vault! To the vault! We heard voices in the distance. The manor guards were coming. Kid dived behind a pile of gold coins. Find someone to hide! In a panic, I looked around the room. There was a large chest sitting wide open next to a pillar. I rushed to empty it out and then plunged headfirst and closed the lid. Is that actually gonna work? Captain! Captain, there's no sign of anyone in there! No sign! Strange. Peculiar. No one's ever escaped before. None have ever fled the mousetrap's clutches. None. Gently pushed up the lid of the chest and peeked through the gap. There were 5 goblins, and that explains the speech pattern. Wearing suits of armor, unlocking the gate, and about to make their way inside. One of the goblins looked around the room, jerking his neck. He peered into the shadows. Captain, what if it was a mouse? Actually a mouse this time. Chef was grumbling about mouses the other day, Captain. A mouse? A rodent? A rat? Would a teeny tiny thing like that really have sprung the trap? Replied a stocky, plump-looking goblin who must have been the captain. He didn't seem convinced. That was when I heard something, a strange but oddly familiar sound come from the corner of the room. It was coming from where Kid was hiding. Startled, the troop of goblins stopped and looked at each other. For a moment, none of them spoke. Eventually, the goblin captain rubbed his chin through his jowls and offered his thoughts. Mouse. I'm sure Chef was complaining about cats. Meow, meow. That voice again. Again. Silence. Goblins only looked at each other. Funny you should say that, Captain. The way I heard it, it wasn't no mouses or cats, it was a hecarim. An awkward silence followed. In my mind's eye, I could see Kid racking her brain to work out what a hecarim was. Smell a rat, by which I mean a thief. Following the captain's lead, the guards reached for their weapons, and then... Listen, it really is a hecarim, by heck! That proves it! The goblin guards grinned and nodded to each other. Cheeky little devil. Surprised me there. Let's get out of here, boys. The goblins filed out of the vault, and I breathed a sigh. That worked! That worked! That worked! What? No! I mean, yeah, goblins and a bunch of different things aren't really the smartest of people, but what? Okay. And then they came charging back with Mighty Roar. Mighty Roar. Oh, okay. Thank you, God. There's no such things as heckrins! You sneaky little buggers! Roared Kid, leaping out from behind the pile of gold coins. You're one to talk, thief. Brandishing their weapons menacingly, the goblins moved forward, forcing Kid into a corner. I quietly eased open the lid of the coffer and slipped out. Can't leave you anywhere, can I muttered to myself. I knew Kid could handle herself, but I didn't fancy her odds at winning against a whole troop of heavily armed goblins. For a moment, I wasn't sure what to do, but then I made up my mind. Not leaving waifu behind, are you kidding me? No, none of that. Right, I had to save Kid. There was no way I was going to abandon a friend in need. Even if it meant facing off against a group of 5 goblin guards, I had to find a way to come out on top. I hoped. I drew a knife, the knife from my belt, and leapt into the middle room. Hey, Snufferbrains is over here! The goblins all turned to look at me at the same time. 10 beady, cruel little eyes, all staring daggers at me. Fool, in a hurry to die, are we? I gulped and wondered if making a run for it might have been the better plan of action after all. Humans are so stupid. The goblin chuckled and licked his teeth. Yep, this one's got a death wish, alright. Why else would he be so stupid as to come after Lord Lynx's treasure? That'd be a first, being called dumb by a bloody goblin. Try act tough on crying to your mama later on. Judging by Kid's response, she wasn't feeling massively threatened. And you tell her it was Kid who kicked your teeth in. So you're Kid, are you? That sneaky little slippery little thief we heard so much about. The goblin narrowed his eyes. Lord Lynx will be thanking me from now on until my retirement when I bring him your head on a silver platter. Goblin pulled his morning star from his waist and started swinging. Don't know who you're messing with. We ain't no ordinary goblins, sweetheart. Lord Lynx is a elite god. The goblins that gobble the goblins. That right. The Gob Squad. Oh, quit shitting your mouth off and let me stick a boot in it. With that, Kid launched into a lightning-fast spinning kick. Her boot connected with the side of the goblin's head with a crack that sent the creature tumbling to the ground. Get him, lads! The boy's looking scrawny. Start with him. Goblin captain spun a metal ball in his morning star in the air. Glorious Gob Strike! Aye, aye! The goblins charged across the room in response to their captain's command. Gob Strike incoming. Okay, let's try this again. Dodge the attack. Oh no, it's different. Slammed into my shoulder. Eeh. Scrawn bag, okay. McGill conjured up a black wind which surged forth like a shearing tempest. How's a human know a spell like that? Who are you? The goblin was quickly silenced by the rushing winds that tore through it and collapsed to the floor with a final shriek. McGill looked down at his victim, his expression unchanged. Another goblin flew down from overhead. Bombs away! With a growl, he sent his morning star swinging from above. I rolled away? No, I wasn't gonna make it. There's watch yourself! Kid's yell broke through the pain, and I clutched my throbbing head. Okay, we're dodging. Alright, that dodged this time. I took too long last time, basically. I figured with how much... Nice, lightning, wonderful, I like this. Nice headbutt. How good am I? Piece of cake, said Kid, putting on a brave face as she wiped the sweat from her brow with her arm. Then she stopped and looked at me. Serge, what were you thinking, you great Drogo, getting the goblins to come after you like that? Really didn't have to, you know? Still, thanks. I can't say I wasn't happy to see your crazy ass jumping like that. He was actually smiling at me. Kid's smile kindled a light inside me, and with it, a peculiar warmth came in ripples. And then McGill stepped in. Save the chatter for later. We can't waste any more time here. Frozen Flame must be somewhere else in the manor. Alright, mate. Thanks for stating the obvious. It's not my bloody fault that Lynx has to make things so bloody difficult for everyone. The kid spun on her heel and made a sulky about face for the door. Suddenly, her attention returned to the pile of defeated goblins. Bunch of Drogos. They said their Lynx is a league god, right? But they've got some nice loot on them. With that, she started unceremoniously rummaging through the fallen captain's pockets. It was like a hyena sniffing for scraps. Hello, hello. What's this? She found an odd metal plate. It resembled an open hand and was covered in runes. Reckon this might open some other magic door somewhere. Well, you never know when it might come in handy either. Either way, aren't escape us. The plate vanished in the kid's pocket. Looks like there's nothing else worth taking. Unless you count pockets and count pocket lengths and bits of string. She rose to her feet and looked around the room. You know, it's a real shame to have to leave the rest of all this loot just sitting here unloved. Suppose we can come back for it whenever. It turned faces and flashed a grin. Alright, lads, let's get a move on. It ain't gonna be dark forever. That antique plate is our only clue for now, muttered McGill, seemingly to himself. That would left the vault is sort of the real Frozen Flame. I haven't gone up this staircase yet. At the foot of some stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed upwards. It was dark and the stairwell was narrow. We watched our footing carefully as we climbed. The stone steps were worn smooth with age, and I lost count of how many there were as we spiraled upward. An awful sense of foreboding haunted me. I had no idea why. It felt as though we were marching to the gallows. When we arrived to the top of the stairs, we were greeted by an old, heavy door looming in the silence. All was deathly silent, and the still, clammy air added to the sense of ominous apprehension. Very wrong here, I muttered without thinking. I hear cursed whispers from beyond the door. McGill added, doing nothing to lift the mood. Grow up, will you? Kid shot back at us derisively. He was already examining the door. Well, it ain't locked. Anyone inside? Might have been elsewhere. Right, here we goes. Kid tried the handle. The door opened with a slow, heavy swing. Revealed what lay. It was a small cylindrical room that appeared to be inside of one of the stone towers. Completely deserted, and there were no windows. What's this supposed to be? Something about this place gives me the creeps. Still standing in the doorway, Kid seemed suddenly taken aback. Might be something in here. Let's take a closer look. A closer look at a bloody empty room? Might as well, I guess. We did climb all them stairs. Kid stepped through the door, grumbling under her breath. Scanned the room and then noticed something on the floor. Flagstones were covered in dozens of narrow scratches in places. Thick black stains. Something in the stains spoke of a horror that no amount of scrubbing would ever wash away. A malice and a sadness. Imagining. Written here. Crouching in front of a wall, McGill was inspecting one of the brownish markings. It looked more like some of the stains. Someone's carved letters into the wall and scrambled them using blood magic? Kid had gone over to take a look. Pretty old. Hard to read too. Some of it's been worn away. See. Cannot hold out much longer. My only hope now is to leave the Asian signet in this room. Asian signet? Suddenly the door slammed shut. We jumped to our feet with a start. Above us we heard an unsettling creaking sound. The walls and floor began to tremble. What the hell's going on? Kid's eyes dotted around the room as he tried to figure out what was happening. The creaking sound from above and the ceiling moved ominously closer. Up there! We walked right into a bloody trap! Kid bit her lip. We gotta do something, and fast. We don't have the time to think about this. Try the board to draw down. Kid sprang to the door. The light frame bounced off it. Damn it! And Jill reached the door like a wind, tried smashing it with a ferocious force. It made a creaking sound and shook from the impact, but stood firm. Yeah, nothing. Serge, Midgel, this is gonna take the three of us. Timing our blows. And timing our blows, we charged it once. Once, twice, the third time. What? I did good. Bugger me. Talk about a nasty surprise. Is it some sort of execution chamber? McGill continued, seeming to be deep in thought. In any case, that writing mentioned Acacia. Yeah, what was that all about? I asked. The Acacia Dragoons, the elite knightly order serving General Viper, who once governed the territory of Galesburg, completely changed later, but that's okay, Galesburg to the west. Former knightly order, I should say. They were wiped out more than a decade ago by the lord of this very manor, no less. Thanks for the history lesson. Thanks for the history lesson, Mag. Kid rose to her feet, patting off the dust. Too bad we're not here for fairy tale nights. Come on, we've got a lot more exploring left to do. McGill shrugged silently, and we waded back to the stairs. I think I'll save it here. It's already late enough. Separate this at least. But yeah, that was pretty good. I like it. I like it. Hopefully, things will continue to be just as good. We'll have to see how that goes, obviously. But little bits at a time. I'm going to try and finish this. I have no idea what to expect here. I am just as in the dark. Unlike with Chrono Cross, I'm just as in the dark as everything else with you guys. So I have no clue what to expect out of Radical Dreamers. But I'm having a lot of fun. I'm being absolutely honest. We'll continue this a little bit more on Monday. Whenever we finish it, I'm thinking about going back to Yakuza 3. but I want to finish this, and I will then, after finishing it once with a proper ending, a good ending, or at least a decent ending, right? No game overs, essentially. Then we will, I'll do quick research to see if there's multiple endings here, just like there's in Chrono Cross. Yeah. Wonderful. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. You guys have been 10 out of 10 with me, and I will see you guys come Monday for more Radical Dreamers on the Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers edition. But until then, you guys have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever it is that you are.